Monocle's in the eye. Dick Cardini lights a cigarette with the match. Now, if you see the World's Festival of Magic, you'll notice he does the Harlequin cigarette holder, right? This is the moment where he gets to all the gags of the cigarette in his ear, and he lights the cigarette. And this is what he gets into this thing. He lights a cigarette, puts the match out, and throws the match. When he throws that match this way, this hand just sits naturally at its side and steals the first ball, which is the orange ball. So he lights the match, and he tosses the match, and he steals the ball. Now he's got the cigarette in his mouth, he's got the ball, and the ball acts as a magic wand, okay? This is a fundamental rule of stage magic. So now, he'll blow some smoke and produce the first ball. Now, he does a trick in which he makes the ball pass from one knee to the other. And what he'll do is he does a French drop and slaps this knee and reproduces the other ball. But you see, he's so brilliant, because when he does this, and makes it vanish, that hand is in position to steal the next ball, the green ball. So he does the vanish from one knee, reproduces the other, and now he's stolen the other ball. So Cardini now he got the balls in his hand here, so and this acts as a magic wand, okay? In other words, the ball helps hide the fact, this orange ball helps obscure the fact that he's got the green ball in this hand, shows both sides of this hand, and then he does the color change. Now here's an important note. You can't imagine how hard it is to do this color change with wooden balls, because when you do it, I can't palm this because there's no finish on it, but you can't let them click. See? You have to do this really slick and palm this ball and get it out of the way, and you got to do this fast without them clicking. It shows you how hard what Cardini's magic was, but he would do this color change without them clicking. So he would do the color change, 1, 2, 3. Then he would do kind of a sucker effect. He would toss the ball and then do the change. Actually, let me take my ring off so you can appreciate this. I'll use Cardini's actual billiards. He's doing this change without letting the balls click together, and that's kind of hard. See, with Fechini balls, they can hit each other and they'll never make a sound. But here, Cardini's got to do a one-handed color change without a sound, like that. So going back, Cardini steals this ball here, holds this orange ball here, which by the way acts as a magic wand, shows this hand, does the color changes, and then he takes this ball and tosses it, and this provides for misdirection for him to steal the blue ball, which is back here. So he goes 1 and he does change, change, and then the third time when it changes, this ball, click, and it makes a clicking sound, because you see, he wants the audience to think. You see, he's trying to make the audience think that the balls are changing colors, but the third time it goes clack, and the audience hears that sound, and they detect that there's a second ball there. But what that does is, that sets it up for the next move, because they go clack, and then he comes up here, where the balls are here, and the audience sees their two balls, and he adds in the blue ball. So let me go back and let me do it with the Fechini balls. Let's put this one back in here. Get to the color change again. So he goes 1, change, clack, and then he's got this ball already palmed. His hand comes up, and he takes the green ball away, or either the orange. It depends on how the routine flows out. And he's got this ball palmed. He picks up this ball and flips the other one into position. So now he notices all of a sudden it's like a sucker effect. It changes color, and suddenly there's a clack, and then there's 2 balls, but no, there's 3 balls. It's a real surprise. So now Cardini tosses these balls from one hand to the other. So he tosses one ball to the other, and catches them. Now, what happens next is Cardini does a vanish of this ball, which is pretty much out of The Art of Magic from T. Nelson Downs, which is he takes it and then he lets it just drop into the palm of his hand. And he lets it, and then he palms it, classic palms. So it's against his body, his hand comes in, it drops. He shows a vanish, and it brings his hand up to reproduce the ball. And while he's doing that misdirection, he's stealing this other ball. Now, here's what's really brilliant about what Cardini's doing in in all these combinations. When he's doing these steals from his body, a lot of times you read old magic books and they say, well, do something here while you're stealing something here. He's a lot more subtle. He does those steals while the other hand is usually in contact with his body or very close to his body. It's very effective because of a couple of reasons. If I was doing something, say, doing something dramatically, for instance, and actually let me put these balls back for a second, and if I was doing something dramatically, magic trick. Very rarely do you hold your hand out like that. If you're a theatrical performer, when you hold your hand out, your arms are spread like that. To have your hand like a doing semaphore looks odd. So this sort of steel, to do misdirection while your hand is against the body, it would be odd to have the other hand extended. So it's in a weird way, it's more naturalistic what Cardini is doing. At least that's my perception of it. So going back, he lights the match, tosses it here. He's got the orange ball, blows some smoke, reproduces this ball, does a French drop, vanishes from one knee, steals the other ball while the hand is over here. Tosses one, twice, click, and rather he does a color change while at the same time the other hand steals the other ball. Does this, once it makes a clicking noise, he gets caught. Oh darn, the audience knows I got two balls. He takes this and he adds this other ball. Then he tosses the ball one at a time from one hand to the other. Does the T. Nelson Downs vanish, which is this. Palms it off his body, shows it the hand empty, brings his hand up. As this appears, he steals the other ball from the other side. Now he's got the yellow ball, right? He stole that while he's doing this production. This hand comes up here. Well, he turns this hand around. This hand goes to the front, takes the orange ball and brings it here. So now he's left with the yellow ball in the palm of his hand, and he does the production. Try that again. He does the production from T. Nelson Downs. So now he's at 4 balls. So coming up next, we're going to pick up right from here. So now we're back. With the 4 balls in his hand like this, Cardini tosses these balls one at a time off into the wings. Now you got to understand these are wooden balls, so they hit the stage with a clank, and then they roll, and they go into the wings where his wife Swan picks them up and puts them, with their equipment. But it makes it for a nice display. I mean, this is just a little studio, but if this was a stage, you'd see that wooden ball hit the floor and roll. So he goes, so now he's got 2 balls in each hand. Now I just have a container here that's going to drop in, but so he does 1, 2, then brings these balls forward, goes clack, clack, shows that they're solid, then tosses this one. When he tosses now the orange ball, he's going to steal the red ball from the holder in the back. So he goes 1, 2, and now he's got the ball stolen. So he's got the cigarette in his mouth, and the routine seems to end about there. Incidentally, a lot of times when Cardini was working in nightclubs, working 3/4 surrounded, he didn't use a shell. He just did pretty much those 4 balls, and that was it. He worked like a cruise ship. He just do the 4 color balls and toss it, and he'd call it a day. But in his full routine, he used 8 balls. So it's 4 and 4, which we're coming up to now. So anyway, so he tosses that ball, steals this here, blows smoke, produces the first ball, and now he does a combination of ball sleights, which you saw on that famous video from World Festival of Magic from 1956. So he does this, he does a flat palm vanish, does a a reproduce at the top of his fist, tosses the ball from hand to hand, shows it's gone, does the retention vanish, which comes from the top, does that, and then does his famous steal in production and vanish this way. Then Cardini rolls this way, and he begins to roll the balls in his hand. Now, in the video you saw me doing today, I just kind of did some of the ball roll stuff, but in Cardini's act, he had a very pretty piece of like celeste music. It was like a little music box music, and he would do the finger ball rolls, and then when he got to the end, he would do the Alexander ball roll. And commonly, Cardini would repeat it. He would do the music would play, he'd do it once, and then he'd do it again. And it was like a circus act. Sometimes they repeat their best trick. And always got a great hand for Dick Cardini. So he gets to the last ball. He does the Alexander ball roll. Now he tosses the ball here, and now he does a French drop and supposedly makes the ball penetrate into his pocket. Now remember, in this pocket, Cardini's got the ball and the shell, the red ball and the shell. So now it gets really interesting. He takes this ball, he makes a vanish, and he goes into the pocket, and now he pulls out. Now he's got a shell and a ball. So he's got a ball palmed here and a shell and a ball. He shows this hand empty, does a changeover, this hand empty. So now he's transferred the solid ball from hand to hand. Shows this ball, he does the color change move, which gets him to steal the ball with the shell away. In other words, because the shell is foremost now, you want to get that away because he's going to toss this in the air. And he tosses this into the air, and when it comes down, he splits the ball into 2. And now, Cardini does the bit where he makes the balls disappear and travel from hand to hand. And it's the old thing where you put a ball up to here, you steal a ball from behind the shell, and reproduce it. So you go here, and he does it a couple of times, and then he'll look startled that it happened. Now, this is a beautiful, beautiful, beautiful piece of magic at this point. He puts the ball here, and he steals the ball. has a cigarette in his mouth. So that gives him a little magic wand and some dramatic smoke, blows some smoke. As he's doing that, this finger, this hand, transfers the ball from the ring, from the middle finger and the index finger up. And then he does, to get ready to do a shell turn. The shell turn which we showed at the beginning. So, recap. He shows the balls, he does this a couple of times. The balls keep changing. Puts a ball here, transfers this up in preparation for the next segment. Blows some smoke, produces this ball from the air. Now turns this way, and these are wooden balls. He goes clack, 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 and he's supposedly showing both sides of the balls to the audience. As he brings his hand back, he gets the ball back to the shell. So now he's got this ball. He tosses it once, twice, 3 times, and classic palms the ball. So the 3rd time, he classic palms the ball. Now he's got the classic palm ball. He adds that behind the shell, looks at the 2 balls, and then notices the ball, the invisible ball that flew up into the air. So what does he do? He puts this ball into this finger, and he kind of coaxes the ball to come down. While he's doing that, this hand comes to his vest, ready to release this ball. So when this ball over here gets produced, this ball is dropped into the hand from the holder. Now I'm using this mechanical holder, but as I said, Cardini used the little downs holder, which is much easier to do. You just put your hand, and your hand just comes down, and bang, that ball is there. So Cardini's now got the white ball here. He reaches in here, loads the white ball behind the shell, and then so now the white ball is behind the shell, and then he gets ready to do that one-handed color change, right? So he rubs his chest, and while he's doing that, he does the one-handed color change, and then notices that suddenly, he had 3 balls, and then one of them suddenly changed white, and he shows all sides. He's got the hand here, hand here, hand here. So now he puts the balls here, and he's ready to produce the ball here. And this is one of those great moments of misdirection. This is a famous Cardini move. He makes this ball appear, and when it appears, he gets startled, and the monocle drops from his eye. Now the monocle is here. He needs to get that monocle. So what he does is he goes to reach for the monocle. At the same time, he releases that ball into his hand, and he classic palms the ball from the vest as he's bringing the monocle up to his eye. Probably the most perfect steal in all of manipulative magic. That monocle falls. It makes perfect sense. He's got to get it. Now he's got this ball. So we get to the final combination. Now Cardini has got this ball in his hand, brings this hand and covers the white ball with the shell. Now transfers the ball between the index and the middle finger to the thumb and the index finger here. Puts this ball here, and now he has 2 red and a white and 2 red. And remember the red white one's back there. While the hands cross, he does that one-handed color change. Okay, so he does that one-handed color change while the hands cross. So it looks like a mirror image. You got these 2 balls, when they come together, they suddenly change color, and then he gets startled. Now he gets to the finale. Now this is a very interesting thing. He gets the ball tossing thing. Now the ball tossing thing is an iffy thing. Cardini did often drop the ball. Not often, but he did occasionally drop the ball. The one little film that I have of Cardini tossing the ball, he's dropping it. Roy Benson himself said that tossing the ball and dropping it marred Cardini's routine. Ted Anneman in the Jinx even said that was the one flaw of Cardini's routine. He said he wished Cardini didn't do it. But you have to understand the context in which Cardini's doing this. This is not his grand finale trick. He acts tipsy on stage. So if the ball drops, he would probably make a routine joke out of it and kick it away, because these things are just annoying him anyway. They're appearing and changing color. He's this tipsy guy, and it's like a hallucination. So it wasn't a big deal if he dropped it. But he would have a ball and a shell in this hand, and he would toss this ball, and then this ball. Now we come into something that's really interesting. It's one of those cases where you actually have to, if you want to be a magic historian or magic manipulative detective like I am, you actually have to do the stuff, because handling the props changes the nature of how you understand the magic trick works. For instance, there's a wonderful little snippet, few sentences in John Fisher's fantastic book, Cardini the Suave Deceiver. In it, he says, Carol Cardini, Dick Cardini and Swan's daughter, said that Dick Cardini, with the last ball, he would toss it up in the air and stick it over here as a joke. Like he'd be like 1, 2, and then toss this high toss, and then stick it like here, and then just to get a laugh. And then he said, no, we'll do it again, and then he would toss the ball for real. There is a reason, I believe, why Cardini's doing that. It's not just a joke. It's very important. When you toss these the first ball and the second ball, the second ball and third ball, and you got this last ball, if this ball doesn't get caught properly in that hand, it's really going to affect whether or not you can catch this fourth ball. But if you do Cardini's gag, toss it up, put it here, and then you take a little bow, when you get that ball again, it gives you a split second to adjust, to make sure that the other balls are secure. So the last ball, Cardini tosses up and he catches it here, and don't ask me to try it now, it's really hard to do, but he catches it in the finger here. The point is to catch it in the knuckle and then roll it a little bit and then catch it. Now he takes a hat off. He doesn't take a hat off, but he takes a bow because he didn't really wear a hat in this routine. And now we get to the cleanup. Cardini puts the balls into his hand. The first thing he puts in is the shell. The shell goes into classic palm position in his hand. The other two balls in the fingertips, and then he rolls the balls, the four balls, off stage one at a time. First one, second one, third one. The audience sees this ball. When he turns his hand over, he's retained the shell. It's perfect because they see the fourth ball and he turns his hand over, and now he's got the ball. Now the thing is, if you this is real important manipulative technique. If you have an object in your hand and you do something and you put your hand in the pocket, it looks kind of tricky as if you're trying to hide something. But Dick Cardini does something very specific. He's got the cigarette, he tosses those away, and he puts both hands in his pocket as if to just, as if he's just hanging out. And then he reaches up the upper sides of his pocket and he picks up two pieces of flash paper. And then he'll hold one piece and there'll be fire, and then he'll transfer the cigarette here and there'll be another fire, and then he goes into his pocket and he pulls out the handkerchief, which is attached to a thread up to his breast pocket area, and he does the untying handkerchief, and that's where you'll see on the Festival of Magic video where he picks up. So what I've done for you right now is do a recreation of Cardini's bit there. Now you know contextually where this fits in Cardini's act, and it was a lot of hard work, and I think it was worth it. I'm glad that I showed it to you. Thank you very much. I want to thank you very much for watching this video. I hope it helps you with billiard ball manipulation. You saw some of the masters, routines of the magicians of the past, and the great stuff that they did. Also, I want to remind you that this video is not an encyclopedia of billiard ball manipulation. This isn't everything that you can do with billiard balls. This is my take on what I consider the ultimate guide to the multiplying billiard balls. In other words, these are moves that I like, and it's my slant on what I think is important with billiard balls. But there are differing opinions that have equal weight. And I certainly recommend there's lots of other books out there, and you should hit the books. Certainly all the old magic periodicals. Incidentally, just so you know, when I researched this video, I actually scanned through my library of nearly 900 books right now, and I scanned every page and anything that I found interesting to do with the billiard balls, put it in my computer as a PDF, and the total file length was 1,402 pages, so 1402, 1,402 pages of study material. And I don't have the biggest library in the world, so I'm sure there's a lot of other interesting things out there that you can learn. So hit the books, read the old magic magazines. By the way, a lot of those old magic magazines, like Elistanian's Magic or the Magic Wand, all those old periods, the Sphinx, are all available on CD-ROM now. So, and a lot of them are searchable, so you can search text in there and you can find some great things. Also, this is not the only video out there that covers billiard ball manipulation. There's a bunch of other great videos out there, and I can name just a couple that I can, off the top of my head, that I think are fantastic. Certainly the Jeff McBride videos are great. The Art of World-Class Manipulation, volumes 1 through 3. And you know what astounds me most about Jeffrey's videos is that when you look at him, he's got coins, balls, and thimbles in each one of these videos. And just the thimbles alone, I could not in my mind possibly imagine that anyone could know that much about thimble magic. So thimble alone is worth it alone. But anyway, it's got great ball stuff in there, coin manipulation. Highly recommended. Certainly Mr. Romaine, I've never met him, but he's from Canada, and he is fantastic. He's got some great take on what he's doing, and he's a pro, and you can see it on the video. Certainly Tim Wright's video, the guy from Ohio. I only met him once, but he seemed like a great, but his video is terrific. He's got shell turn techniques that are very interesting that you should learn. His take on the use of the pocket, his routining is really terrific. So you got to, Tim Wright, worth every penny. Certainly both of the Shimada tapes are great. The one for Greater Magic Video, which Shimada shot in '84 when he was 44 years old. And then the Shimada video that was shot in 1998, which was published by Deanna Shimada. Those are both great videos. And even though they're both ball manipulation routines, Shimada's 44 years old in one video and he's 58 years old in the other. And in those 14 years, he learns a lot of things that he didn't know when he was 44. So both videos are certainly worth having. Speaking of videos, I'm about to do something that I had not really considered doing before, but I'm going to throw this in anyway. So you can consider this video ended now. But from this point, see, I'm a historian. I look at all the magic videos, I look at old magic films and videos and read the magic books. And it's always saddened me that people like Charlie Miller and the Charlie Miller videos, and certainly Di Vernon, that by the time these gentlemen got to shooting videos, teaching magic, they were pretty old and they were not in their prime, technically. And I really don't want my magic to be lost, so that, or rather, I don't want my magic tricks, my techniques, for me to show it when I'm past my prime. Now, I'm 44 years old now. Okay, this is 2009, and I do a billiard ball routine in my show. And what I'm about to do now is I'm going to show you a video of my billiard ball routine, which I do currently. Now, what I'm telling you now is that, so consider the instruction finished, but from this point on, I'm not giving you permission to do my routine. This is my present routine. This is what I do in my act today. But this routine is without a doubt the most technically difficult thing I've ever done in magic. Honestly, there's nothing compares to how hard this routine is for my hands. So I don't want this routine to be lost forever for posterity. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to show you a video of me doing the routine. Then I'm going to show the techniques that I use. I'm not showing this for you to do my techniques, or at least not while I'm still performing. So right now, you don't get permission to do my routine, but I'm going to show you the techniques. So for posterity, this is recorded and saved on videotape while I'm healthy and young enough and physically capable to do this stuff. So it's hard stuff. So coming up now is a video of me performing my billiard ball routine. Roll tape. Okay. Got a couple of minutes to kill. So what we're going to do. Now, usually when you're holding two yellow balls in your hand, you have big bird's undivided attention. But tonight we're going to do some juggling. Two-ball juggling. That's juggling. I do invisible juggling, which looks something like this. Two-ball juggling. Let me tell you the secret? 3 balls. It actually is 3 balls. The third ball is invisible. Look, travels through the air into the box like that. 1, 2, 3 balls. Ich ni san. Chinese, il i san. 1, 2, 3. 1, 2, 3, 4. One from the air like that. 1, 2, 3 balls. The fourth ball is invisible. Gone into the box like this. 1, 2, 3, 4 in the air. See? 5 balls in the air. 6 balls. Come on, folks. I would applaud myself, but my hands are full. Come on, this is impossible. 8 balls. 8. 1, 2, 3, 4. 5, 6, 7, 8 balls.
Ladies and gentlemen, Levent. folks, you have the finest comedy musician, extreme talent. Lip bend, everybody.
Thank you so much. Thank you. Thank you very much. Goodbye, folks. Next up, Korea. Seoul, Korea. Goodbye. Thank you.
Good luck in Korea, mate. Thank you very much. Lip bend, everybody. Thank you for standing ovation. Did you enjoy the show, ladies and gentlemen?
That is the billiard ball routine that I performed today. Now, let me tell you a little bit about my involvement in billiard ball manipulation. When I was a little kid, I saw a television news spot where there was a young man and they showed him, he was an amateur magician, they showed him in front of the mirror practicing with billiard balls, the wooden billiard balls. And I thought it was very magical looking. So when I was in Kings Plaza Shopping Center in Flatbush Avenue in Brooklyn, there was a KB Toy Hobby Shop. And in it, there was a blister pack with these SS Adams magic toys. And I noticed, since it's billiard balls, since there's a ball changes 2 to 3 to 4, and there's a picture of 4 balls on the fingertips. And I bought the trick. And I opened it up, and sure, there was, the ball with the shell and the 4 balls. And I read the instruction sheet. And I started doing the billiard balls with the 1-inch balls and did them all the time, performed them, showed all sorts of folks. And then I went to a bookstore and I found a book called Now You See It, Now You Don't. And this is about probably late 1975 by the time I got this book. And in that book, I learned that there was such a thing called manipulation. And that to do the multiplying billiard balls, you just didn't do the routine that said it so on the paper, on the instruction sheet, but you can do all sorts of things with manipulation. So I needed a better set of billiard balls. So I went to a local magic shop, House of Hocus Pocus on Coney Island Avenue in Avenue J, and I purchased the Morrissey multiplying ball set, which was four red balls, a green ball, and 2 red shells. They're about 1.75 inches in diameter. It was unusual because it was an spun aluminum shell with hand crocheted over it. And I had a piece of music. I found a song called A Fifth of Beethoven, which was like a disco reworking of Ludwig van Beethoven's Fifth Symphony. Fifth of Beethoven was by Walter Murphy and the Big Apple Band. It's a 45 RPM record. And in my on my talent show at Public School 177 in Brooklyn, New York, in June 1976, I did a couple of patter tricks. I did What's Next. I did Martin Lewis' Sidewalk Shuffle. And at the end, I signaled the boy at the edge of the stage who put the record down. Now it sounds like crazy, right? But the kid put a needle on the record, spun it around. And sure enough, he played the Fifth of Beethoven. And I did my billiard ball routine with the balls. And then I actually wrapped the routine up with a little dove pan, Rings and Things dove pan to a dove. And that was my routine. As I got older, I actually went to Tannen's and I purchased the Fekini billiard ball set. And I used to do the Fekini billiard balls with, actually they weren't even billiard balls, they were golf balls. And then I do a continuous ball production into a hat to the big ball, which is exactly the ball that I used early in this video, is the one I had when I was a little kid. The balls got out of my